Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another 1,000 Pound Sisters review. This is season 7, episode 2, Smitten Like a New York Kitten. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into this episode. My biggest takeaway is that Tammy wasn't lying about Amanda. I hate to say it. I hate when I'm wrong, but I always admit when I'm wrong, which is that I thought that Tammy was exaggerating last season when she said certain things about Amanda and her sons. But watching the way that this episode played out, I now have to eat crow and be honest and say that Amanda does present to be a problem when it comes to her sons. My question is, where were Amanda's sons when she decided that she was going to up and leave and go follow that man to Florida? Wherever they were living, they need to go back there because it's wrong for Amanda to think that it is okay to have herself as well as these two big behind boys come and live at Amy's house that is already busting at the seams and is already chaotic and all that other stuff with just her and her sons. And now you're going to add you and your two sons, and for whatever reason, you think that you're doing Amy a favor. But we'll get into it. We pick up the episode where we left off with Tammy meeting Andrea, her now girlfriend. I will not lie. I laughed when Andrea sat down and she started talking because at first I thought the same tooth that Tammy was missing was the tooth that she was missing, but it just looks like they're both missing the same front tooth. I want TLC to help them work on that. I do. Because as long as they've been on this show, you all should have been able to arrange something for them where you promote some type of oral surgeon or someone like that to help Tammy with this thing. Because it's just something that I can't help but think that may help Tammy's self-esteem. So we find out that Andrea and Tammy met on a dating app. And Tammy says that this time she's taking things slow. This is her first public date. And when she said it, I was like, her first public date ever? Or just with Andrea? Because I started thinking about it, and I don't know what her situation was like with Jerry and them. I know she went out at times, but I don't. She had to be talking. I'm thinking about this on camera. She had to be talking about with Andrea. Let me know what you think. And maybe it's because of the show and things of that nature. But either way, it's their first public date. And I said to myself, there's a lot of things that are going to be first for Tammy. So Andrea arrives. It's clear that the both of them are nervous. They're like two giddy high schoolers that have met their love. Both of them agree that they are not that great at bowling, but they're going to make fools of themselves while enjoying it. I think that Tammy looks cute and happy with her, and it was nice to see. Andrea tells us that Tammy can be hard headed at times, but she is great and she's a beautiful person. Tammy feels like she's a beautiful person as well. She says that this time, though, she's more cautious because she does not want to be used like she was in the past. There was this part where Andrea had asked for some bowling shoes like the ones they got if Tammy could buy them, and Tammy said she would. I hope that they don't try to turn this into a thing where Andrea is using her. I don't get that vibe, but I do get that Andrea seems to know a lot about Tammy because later on, when she mentions meeting her mom and her siblings, she says them by name. So they played bowling. Andrea wins with a whopping 46 points. I thought I was bad. No, they're way worse. They talk about what's next. So Andrea says she wants to meet the mom and she names the various siblings. But Tammy is nervous about that because she says that her family is a lot and that they're hard to deal with, but also because she's dating a woman. She keeps on bringing up this her dating a woman thing. And I don't recall her family reacting negatively to her saying that she's pansexual. So I personally don't feel like it would be that big of a deal to them. They seem to always support Tammy in her endeavors. Look at how they showed up for her when she decided to get married to Caleb. Like, they're very supportive of her, even though they got their issues. So I don't think that they would, be negative towards her and her girlfriend. Um, we see Amy on her date. She's at a bar and she's meeting up with her man, Brian, to play pool. She spots him sitting at the bar because of the bald spot in his head. Their first date lasted for 22 hours. After 3 days, he told her that he loved her and now she loves him too. The family thinks that they're moving fast, and I do too. It's giving love bombing to me. I just feel like, what's the rush? Like, why are we rushing so much when it comes to this situation where he's telling you he loves you after 3 days and y'all are getting tattoos and this and this? It's just quick, quick, quick. So Amy says that, she didn't like him much at first, but he grew on her. Amy talks about how her family never likes anyone when it first comes to dating. They've been together a month. They have been together a month, and one of the things that she tells us that she likes about him is how he is so good with her boys. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I have a problem with her introducing her children to this man so quickly. I have a problem with you putting your children in harm's way. And I say harm's way because you've known this man for a month. How quickly did you introduce him to your children? He's a stranger, even to you. He's a stranger to you. I just don't like that mess. So Brian says that one of the things that or some of the things that he likes about Amy is how great of a mom she is and how she's good with him and how much they enjoy their extracurricular activities. And I felt myself gagging when he said that because I just feel like it's too much. And let me be clear, I'm no prude, but for you to be a month in and you've already given up yourself that way, Amy, it's showing to me that you moved too quickly. A month in and y'all are talking about how much you enjoy extracurricular activities, and even like in the bowling, not bowling, pool place, they like, it's very touchy feely. It's very, I'm all up on you. It's very, y'all need to hurry up and go get a room. I just feel like I don't think he's with her for the right reasons. I could be wrong. I don't. Especially after he says that he wants her to move in. It's a month. And you want her to move in? It's just love bombing to the fullest. I don't trust him. And we know about the whole, camel bite. I wonder if they're even still together. But y'all tell me what y'all think about Brian in that situation. And it's okay if you tell me I'm a prude. Just tell me in a nice way. So we head to Chris and his backyard, and he has a whole bunch of different grills and smokers and all these other things, right? So he admits that since having his surgery, he has not changed the way he cooks. Chris better be careful because him admitting that he has not changed the way he cooks makes me feel like over time he will gain his weight back. It also explains why it took him so long to get to the point where he could have skin removal surgery. So Britney has enjoyed his cooking. Chris says, I'll cook the same way, but after a couple bites, I'm full. Whereas with Britney, she's just enjoying the food. Britney also struggles with diabetes. And since everything has transpired, it hasn't gotten any better. It's actually gotten worse. So now she too is considering weight loss surgery. I personally feel like, and this is coming from someone who has struggled with their weight, I go up and down myself. I know what my issues is. I know how to fix my issues. I know what I got to do to go hard to see results and all those other things. With that being said, I've never looked for the quick way out. So when I'm saying this, understand where I'm coming from when I'm saying it. I'm saying that I have a problem with Britney, in my opinion, looking for the quick way out. You telling me that you've tried all these different diets and things of that nature, that's the problem. From what I keep getting told from my doctor, it can't be a diet. It has to be a lifestyle change. And we have not witnessed Britney switching up anything. Even when Chris was going through his stuff and he had to eat healthy and stuff, she didn't want to eat the stuff that he was eating or do the stuff that he was doing. She didn't want to work out. She didn't want to do none of that stuff. Britney is a very inactive person. So for you to sit here and say you thinking about having surgery, I got to side eye you a little bit because you're not that large. Like you're overweight, but you're not that large where it's like, oh yes, surgery should be an option, right? I just feel like a lot of them look for quick fixes. So she says that, she wants to be able to run around with the grandkids. And this is when we learn that Britney has never had any biological children of her own. And one of the things that she desires, even though Chris has two 20-something-year-olds, is to be able to have a child with Chris. And Chris wants that for her as well. When she said it, I wonder how old Britney is and if it's something that Britney has really tried. Like, have you really, really tried to see what's going on with you while you're struggling to conceive? So Chris talks about how that's one of the reasons why Amy did the surgery in the first place, is because she was hoping that it would help her have children. So it's definitely something that they can consider. Now she's wondering what if they can afford to have two surgeries in a year, like if it's something that they can pay for. I'm sure that they're not going to say it, but I'm sure TLC is footing some of the bill. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if they're going to be willing to do that for Britney, but y'all are getting paid to be on this show. You're getting something. How much is something? I don't know, but you're getting something. So we go on to Amy, right? We're at Amy's. And we find out that not only has Amanda been at Amy's house for 2 months, but now she has invited her sons to come move into. I got to get on Amanda because I don't understand how you go from I'm moving out of town to I'm coming back into town to I'm not getting my own place, but instead I'm going to move in with my sister, to not only am I going to move in with my sister, but I'm going to have my two grown behind sons come and move into someone else's house. As I said, I got to bite my words when it comes to the situation with her and Tammy, because obviously there's more there than what we understand. Amy says, not only am I having to deal with her sons, but I'm also having to deal with the friends. And one of the sons has the girlfriend there because the friends come over too. My answer to you, Amy, is kick them out. Give her 30 days notice and tell her she has to go. I will be dog diggity damned if I'm sitting in my house and I'm made to feel uncomfortable by people who do not pay bills. It's not happening. Amanda sons are outside and they're talking about how difficult it is to live with Amy. Go away. They're talking about how wild the boys are. Go away. While Amanda is trying to tell Amy like different things of what to do. For example, they're sitting down, the boys are supposed to eat. Amy's on the couch and she's just handing them food here and there, and the food ends up spilling on the floor. And Amanda's like, I told you should use those chairs, those high chairs. Should she use them? I completely agree. You have to teach your children that running around eating isn't going to be a thing, but there's no structure in that household. Put them in a high chair and you would alleviate some things for yourself. We already know you don't like to clean up, so why wouldn't you do that? And Amy is over it. Amy's over Amanda trying to tell her what to do and how to do it. So she wants her to go. So she's like, I can't even keep food in my house. I feel like the house is too small. And she's saying that I feel like the house is too small. And she asks Amanda, like, how's the search going? So Amanda talks about how, I could sit there and rent something, but then by the time I rent and put down security deposit in first, months and last and I might as well just go ahead and save that money and buy a house. So I'm just going to keep saving so I could buy a house. Amy tells us, like, she wasn't supposed to be here this long. So Amanda says, like, my boys come, wherever I am. And she takes it a step further by saying that she's doing a favor for Amy by being there. What favor are you doing other than being her Uber? Because the house looks a mess. I don't mean no harm, but Amanda, I'm starting to think like you're not clean either because I know me. Perfect example. This is completely off the record. Perfect example. I go to my man's house yesterday, right? Walk into the house. Hey, boom, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Play with my baby, my little fur baby. Go in the kitchen. Look at the counter. It's a big island all over thing. And one half of the island is a hot mess. Guess what I proceed to do because this is how I am. I grab the cleaning stuff and I start cleaning off the island. He's like, I was going to get that. Da, da, da. Yeah, but that's how I am. So for me, if Amanda is living in this house and she's supposed to be so clean, I would think that Amanda, who's living in this house for free, as Amy says later on, would clean up. But they're all messy. Now Tammy was clean, and when she had her place, I don't know if she's still clean, but the rest of them, y'all are messy. Cause even Britt and Chris's house looks junky. Like it's too much stuff. It's too much clutter. Yeah, it's not my thing. Anyways, so you sitting here acting like you're doing Amy a favor. What do? Do you wash clothes? Do you babysit? Do you clean up outside? Is somebody working on the lawn because the backyard looked a hot mess? Do the boys that are in there throw out the trash? Like what's going on here? She says that there are times where Amy has tried to, get out of line with her, but she doesn't care whose house it is. Amy better respect her. Interesting how you don't care whose house it is, but when the roles were reversed and you felt like Tammy was disrespecting you in your house, you were quick to tell her to get out. Amanda, I like you, but it's given bully. It's given bully. It's given bully, which kind of explains why Amy lets stuff build up, and explode. I think Amy's afraid of Amanda because she's obviously uncomfortable and she's telling her other siblings about how she feels, and yet no one is saying anything to Amanda. No one is trying to rectify the situation or be like, look, sis, don't you think it's time that you leave or something like that? No. Instead, it's just chaos among chaos and people not knowing how to deal with one another. So, with all the bodies in the house, Amy is now considering moving in with Brian. Tammy needs to clear her energy. She meets up with her friend Steven because she wants advice on how to tell her family she's dating a woman. I don't get why this is a thing. This is kind of giving storyline to me. I could be wrong. Y'all tell me what you think. But as I said, you told them you're pansexual, so why do you need advice on how to come out when you've came out? She's known him since high school, but hasn't seen him in what sounds like since high school because he comes out, they embrace each other. He talks about the differences in Tammy, how amazing she looks. And you can tell that Tammy is one of those people who words of affirmation are going to help her in this part of her life because she needs to work on building back her self-esteem. So he's like, you look so amazing and I can wrap my arms around you now and you're glowing and it's so much different than how you were in high school. And Tammy tells us about some of the things that she went through in high school, some of the bullying, things of that nature. We find out that Steven went through bullying as well, that he had a rough time too because in his words, he was gay, but he hadn't came out yet. He didn't come out until after high school, but kids kind of picked up on it, so they were, harsh. He tells Tammy that even if telling her family is rough, that what she needs to just do is go for it and be willing to do whatever makes her happy. Sound advice, right? Okay, Reiki time. So Tammy and Amy are on their way to do Reiki. At the suggestion of Tammy's therapist, I said, okay, I hope Tammy's therapist watches this show and sees some of the instances where Tammy needs to work on her anger and the way that she vocalizes things since she has a therapist. So the therapist recommends that she come to be cleansed via Reiki. While en route, Amy asks what's keeping Andrea's secret. Like, why are you, not telling anybody about Andrea? And Tammy starts talking about how the family is a lot and says, she just doesn't know if she wants to do all of that. So Amy tells her, like, I don't care who it is that you're with as long as they treat you right. And she tells us it doesn't matter, what their sexual orientation is or what their color is, as long as they treat a person right, that's all that matters to her. I'm the same way. Tammy says that Andrea is an upgrade from most of her exes. We get some flashbacks of the guys that Tammy dated in the past. Jerry, who had a wife and liked to feed her, and the other guy who was on TikTok and liked to I don't know if he fed her, but he liked bigger women. Um with Amy saying that those people wanted her to be bigger, that they weren't trying to help her. Tammy asks Amy how things are going at the house, and Amy starts crying because she's over them being there. I think Amy is extremely overwhelmed. I think Amy has been overwhelmed for a long time. I think Amanda needs to go, and I think Amanda's taking advantage of the situation. I think that Amy needs to be on her own. Amy needs to figure it out for herself. Amy needs to figure out a routine since she fought to have predominant custody of these boys. And Amy needs to stop relying upon everything else or everyone else to do her job. Amy says that, she's over Amanda and her sons, that they just come in the house and do whatever they want. Tammy's like, I was afraid that this was going to happen. She tells us that I had a feeling that this was going to happen, but she reassures her sister that it's going to be okay and that it's going to work out. So they go to Reiki. Amy is first. While being worked on, she falls asleep. She then wakes up talking crap about how she feels the same way. Well, if you were asleep, then you're not going to be able to go through the exercises in order to kind of like cleanse your energy. Let's be clear, you can change the energy of a room without going to see somebody. You can do it on your own. I've done it myself many a times. That's why there's times where they have you do breathing exercises and things of that nature, because it adjusts things, it regulates your body, it helps you, relax to calm some of that anxiety and things of that nature that you have. So she tells us that she thinks that it's BS and it doesn't work, but she says Tammy is more gullible. So it's Tammy's turn. And at first, she's nervous if she's going to even be able to get on the table. She tells us about how back in the day when she got on Dr. Proctor's table that she actually broke it in half. I didn't know that. And she's not sure if she can get up there. And the guy's like, you can get up there. It can hold 500 pounds. So she feels a little bit better up there. And she ends up getting on the table with little to no assistance. So as the lady begins working on Tammy, instead of Amy just watching and being quiet the way that Tammy was, Amy is interrupting and she's asking questions. And the lady's like, I'm just trying to work on her energy. So she finally quiets, and we see some of the exercise going on. And as the exercise is going on, Tammy tells us that she often feels like she's trapped in her body, that she still feels fat and disgusting and like the loser that she was back in the no, that's not how she said it. She said that she used to feel fat and disgusting and like a loser. And because she felt fat and disgusting and like a loser, she ended up settling before, as a result of her settling, that she got hurt. When Tammy talks like this, I enjoy Tammy because this is Tammy being honest about her emotions. This is her being vulnerable and saying like, look, there was a period in my life where I hated myself. And because I hated myself, I settled in so many ways. And she says now what she wants to do is she wants to open up her heart. But she has a lot of negative energy around her, especially in trusting new relationships. I don't necessarily think that it's all negative energy. I think that sometimes people associate loneliness and sadness and make it where it's negative energy, whereas it's just something that you're currently going through. And let's be clear, some of that is a part of her grief. I don't think it's as much about trust as she was saying, because she's like, she doesn't trust, as it is about grief, because you were able to go into a relationship with Caleb and you trusted Caleb enough to marry him. And he didn't hurt you in cheating on you or anything of that nature. He hurt you by lying about not getting it back in gear for his health. So for me, I think it's more so about the fact that she lost Caleb and she hasn't grieved it, because she's sitting here saying to us that she has no desire to deal with a man ever again, not because she is a homosexual, but just because she has no desire to. So I feel like there's something deeper in there. So as she's being worked on, she starts crying. After she's done, she says that she felt the energy. Like, she said that she felt like a dark presence over her, like standing over her. I don't know what that could have been. This is what she says she felt. And then she said when the woman who was working on her touched her shoulders and then she touched her heart and she told her to let it go, that she got emotional. I believe in energy, and I feel like what happened for Tammy was a shift in it. You can call it different things. If you're religious, you may say that it's the Holy Spirit. If you're not, you may just say it's the energy of the room, your aura, or whatever. I believe in energy. I think that even an atheist, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that even an atheist can believe in energy. Me believing in energy saved me from being at a store when there was a shooting at it, because myself and my friend were in the Walmart, and what normally would be a long trip for us, we were in and out because both of us talked about how the energy in the place felt so off, and in less than an hour there was a shooting there and people were unalived. So with that being said, I think that it's important to pay attention to the energy around you, which is why you have to do not just, your breathing exercises and Reiki and whatever else, but you also have to do some other work too, right? Sorry for rambling. Okay. On to this apple picking thing. So, some of the family goes apple picking. We see Chris, Tammy, Britt, and the kids, oh, and Amy, they get to ride the train and they pick red and green apples. They go to sit down. Chris asks about the living situation with Amy. Amy says that Amanda and her kids have taken over everything and she doesn't pay a dime. I can't believe that after Amanda sat there and complained about Tammy, that this is the situation that we have here. They fight every week. She told Amanda that she doesn't want the kids living there, but Amanda had them come in anyway. Chris, big bro, this is, in my opinion, where you step in and help your sister, since you like to interject so much, but it doesn't seem like he's going to say anything. This is when Amy tells them that Brian asked her to move in. He's currently baby proofing his house. Chris tells her that he hasn't even been dating you for 6 weeks. And it's like, have you lost your mind? She's over there talking about all the things that Brian does, that he balances her, that he's the one who goes running around the park with the boys. And I'm hearing her talk, and it just sounds like Amy is lazy. Amy, be a mom. Be a mom and run around with your boys. You telling us that you able to maintain your weight because you're chasing around your boys, yet here you are happy that this much older gentleman is outrunning you and able to keep up with your boys, but you can't. Amy's lazy. So Chris isn't trying to hear all that. He tells her that you don't even know a person after 2 years, and you especially learn a lot about a person when you move in with them, but he knows she's not going to listen. He tells her she needs to slow down, that she moved fast with Michael too, and look where she is now. When he said it, I was like, whoa. Tammy tells her, just be careful. And Chris tells her that she's effing up royally. And that's how they end it. If there's something that I left out that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. What do you all think about this whole situation with Tammy being nervous about introducing her family to Andrea? Do you think she's valid in those thoughts? Let me know down below. And what do we think about Brian and Amy? Do we think that that he's using her? Put that down below. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Until next time.